Hello, I'm Doug Mayo, Jackson County Extension Service. We're here today at the annual Peanut Short Course in Jackson County, and with us we have Dr. Barry Tillman from the University of Florida's research station in Marianna, and he's going to talk to us about peanut varieties for 2011.
All right, thank you, Doug. Glad to be here. We have really 5 varieties for 2011. Florida 07, Georgia 07W, Georgia 06G, Georgia Greener, and Tifgar are the 5 varieties that were the most grown in our certified seed acreage in 2010, so they'll be the ones that are most available for growers. And even though we have 5 varieties, there are differences among those varieties that are key for growers to understand and to use to their advantage. A lot of those are in disease resistance. Now, one key thing about all these varieties is that they are large seeded, so it's going to cost more to plant them than we're used to historically with Georgia Green. But they also are more productive than Georgia Green on average. I would encourage growers to look at the data from the University of Florida, University of Georgia, Auburn University. All those are available on the website. We can help with that. I know you can help with that, help growers identify that. But in general, disease resistance is much improved with these varieties, and particularly if you have nematode problems. Tifgar is nearly immune to root knot nematode, so it's a very good variety to choose for that purpose. All of them, with the exception of Georgia 06G, have quite good white mold resistance, so those are good varieties to choose for that disease. They all have quite good resistance to spotted wilt as well, and Dr. John Beasley talked about that some, and basically you can have a situation where you can plant a little bit earlier in April when you have moisture if the soil temperatures are correct. So those are key, those are some important things to note with those varieties. The other thing to note is maturity. They are all around the 135 to 140 day peanut maturity. However, Tifgar has been shown to even to be able to be harvested at that time, but also it can go later. It can go in up to 150 days, and it has the disease resistance to do that. So, if you have fields that are far apart, far flung, and it's hard to get to those fields, Tifgar would be a good choice, I think, to put there because it has that resilience with the disease resistance and the harvest maturity range that it has. It would be a good idea to do that. All these varieties are going to require gypsum, especially if you're growing for seed. One of the things that we want to point out to seed growers is that anytime you're growing for seed, gypsum is a requirement. If we don't have gypsum adequately in the seed, then germination problems can happen, and that's the worst thing for a seed producer to have is seed that doesn't germinate. And even in growing peanuts normally, these larger seeded types, you need to be cautious and careful about calcium compared to what we used to do with Georgia Green. With Georgia Green, we used to just allow it to grow. We had 500 pounds per acre in our soil test. It would do quite well, and sometimes just put lime on the soil surface, it would do quite well. The newer varieties have shown that they may be more sensitive to that, so I would encourage growers to watch the soil calcium level and make sure that they are in tune with that. The only other thing I'll point out is that newer varieties are going towards high oleic chemistry. I think that's an important thing for growers to understand why we're doing that. It's the manufacturers are requiring it. Our competitors overseas are using that technology, and we developed it here, and we have the ability to use it. And to stay competitive, we need to have that in our mix. So our new varieties coming out are going to have that chemistry as well as the good attributes we're talking about of disease resistance and what have you. So.
And of those new varieties, you said there were 5
Correct.
varieties. Are any of those high oleic?
The Florida 07 is high oleic out of that group. And there's a couple of others coming after that are a few years away, two years away, that both are high oleic. But out of that group of 5, the Florida 07 is the high oleic.
All right, good information, and thank you to Dr. Barry Tillman from the University of Florida's research station outside Marianna, coming to you today from the Peanut Short Course in Jackson County.